everyone, my name is Ruben and welcome to your Photoshop Weekly Creative Challenge. To download the free resources, please click in the link in the description below or simply use your own files. All right, welcome everyone on the chat. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's see who's on the chat right now. Give me 1 second. I'm just setting everything up here. Great. Alrighty, Cody Bear is there. John is there. Hey everyone. Hope everyone is having an amazing day. Remember that we are live every single day on Behance and YouTube for more tutorials like this. Last week we had so much fun creating a minimalistic poster. If you haven't checked that out, go and check the recap and then come back here. Or, watch this one first and then go back and check that one out. All right, so let's get started right away. Let me click in here, and today we're going to be creating a selective color. So we're going to be creating some black and white effect on images and photos, and then we're going to also have a selective color or bring some of that color through the black and white. So it's going to be fun. So let's get started right now. All right, let's see. All right, if you downloaded the resources, you're going to have these two images. We have the first one, which is this one, and then the second one right here. We're going to see if we can tackle both of them. But if not, I mean, the first one, it'll be great if we can do the black and white and all this stuff that we're going to create in here. First things first, I want to make sure, this file is not super huge. So I'm going to click or hold down Option on my Mac, Option Command I. So we see it's pretty big. So we just want to make it a little bit smaller. So we're going to put 150 for the resolution. And then for the width, probably going to do 2000. That'll be fine. Click on 2000 and then just click OK. Perfect. So we have our image here. Perfect. And what I like to do first is actually to make this a little wider on the left side and also on the bottom. So that way we can see more of this section down here. So what I like to do is to, press C on your keyboard, and it's going to bring up the crop tool. And what you're going to do, make sure here on the top field, you click on Generative Expand, because we're going to expand this image just a tiny bit. We're going to crop it. So we're going to create some generative fill here on the left, also on the bottom, just a tiny bit. And also I'm going to just probably crop this probably about there. And then when you're ready, just click on Generate. All right, so Photoshop is going to do its magic right now, and it's going to, create the rest of this image. And we have 3 options, and we can pick whichever we want. This one is pretty nice. That one is cool too. But this is the winner, number 3. From 1, 2, 3. I really like this one a lot. It looks like it's part of the image. So I'm going to keep this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select the 2 images and just combine them. So by pressing Command or Control on your PC, Control E, Command E, Control E on your PC, and then you have the full image. We haven't done that on this one. We don't need to, but so let's focus on this one. So this is the one that we're working on. So first things first, we need to turn this into black and white, right? There's so many different options and ways you can do this. The first one, for example, press Command J to create a duplicate of that layer, and then just press Command Shift U, Control Shift U on your PC. And then you're going to turn it into a black and white image. But it's a little bit boring, and it's kind of like blending in your gray tones, and there's not a lot of details in there. So that way it kind of like looks a little boring. So we need to do another way to do this that it kind of like enhances the image because we want something very kind of like dramatic and looking awesome. So I'm gonna leave this one for now. I'm gonna turn it off so you see the comparison. And then another way to do this is by adding in an adjustment layer. So you go down here into your adjustment icon, into your adjustment layer icon, and then in here you can add in a black and white one. Boom, you have a black and white. You can see the difference between this one and that one. The only thing with this one, this adjustment layer, is that you will have to, like, depending on your image, you will have to like move things around, like the reds and the blues and the greens and everything. Or you can also use like presets. Like you can go here and be like, all right, so I want to do like a darker one, or I want to do a green filter. So it's gonna tackle those greens, and then you will have to like manually like kind of like adjust it. That's another way to, you know, create black and white images. But the best option that I have found is by creating a gradient map. And this is the way you do it. Make sure in the foreground and in the background you have the default colors, the black and the white, meaning that, for example, if we have something like this, we have different colors in there. Let's say we have blue. By pressing D, you're gonna go into the default, which is, you know, the black and white, and that's what you want. And then what we're gonna do is just go back into here, into your icon for adding an adjustment layer, and then instead of using black and white or any other, just go into gradient map. Just click on gradient map. Boom. See the difference? I'm gonna just put in like the one that we did, which is just desaturating that image, which is Command Shift U, which is this one. And I'm gonna turn it on so you can see the difference. That's just desaturating the image. And here is, you know, actually like adding in an adjustment layer, but using a gradient map. And what's great about this, using the gradient map, is that all those details like are in there. Like you can see more details, more dramatic like shadows in there. And what I like about this one is like that you can actually click on the actual gradient map, and you can double click that. And then in here in the properties panel, you can change these methods from perceptual to linear, which is very blended, and then through classic, which is kind of nice too. But for now, we're gonna leave it at perceptual, because it has more dramatic, like more contrast, and I like that. And also another thing is like you can actually click on the gradient, and you can move things around too in order for you to make it, you know, even darker if you want to make it darker, or you can make it a little bit lighter if you want to, depending on the image, of course. Also, you can add in like other points, like by just clicking, and then you can drag it drastically, or like, oh, that's way too much. And then if you want to get rid of it, just like hold down and just like let it go. Just hold it down and just like pull it down and let it go. So I really like this. This is kind of nice. We can add in like some more blacks, and also you can grab this one, the midtones, so you can just like make it a little bit drastic if you want to. I think I like this a lot. So you can see the pretty big difference between, I'm gonna delete this black and white one. Just hold down and then put it in the trash bin, and then see the difference between that one, which is our, you know, gradient map option, versus this one, which is the kind of like regular desaturating the image. See the difference? Okay. Great. I hope everyone is doing great on the chat. Brilliant. And you. Okay, Ryan, thank you so much. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see. What we're doing here is we're gonna silhouette this bird and kind of like bring him kind of like to life, right? So what we're gonna do is actually I'm gonna delete this sample that I did with the desaturated layer. And then I'm gonna hide this gradient map for now. I'm gonna select my image, and then I'm gonna go in here into my selection, into my toolbar, and just click on the object selection tool. And then what we're gonna do is just select this one. I wanna select this one instead of the other ones because it's like doing something different. It's backwards. So do a quick selection there. I see my selection, which I think is good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on my gradient map, and then I'm gonna go into the mask and make sure you click the mask. You see like that, if I click here, I'm selecting the gradient, and then if I click here, I'm selecting the mask. So with that selection in there and the mask selected, what you're gonna do is make sure you have your foreground in black, and then you're gonna paint over this. So that way we bring what's below the gradient mask, and it's gonna bring the colorful bird. So make sure you have your selection, make sure you click on the mask, and then press or hold down Option and then Alt on your PC, and then delete. So Option, delete, boom. There you have it. You have that dramatic, like super high contrast image, which I really love. The only thing is like we need to go in there and kind of like fix a little bit and just like use the brush tool to get some of the other stuff out of the image. So we're gonna zoom in by pressing Command or Control plus. And then as we can see here, we have some, let's see, 1 second, we have some greens coming through. And what you're gonna do is like press the layer mask, press the B for the brush, and then just use the left bracket or the right bracket to make it smaller or bigger. Make sure it's black on the foreground, and then you can start like painting. In this case, we're gonna press X because we're gonna remove this part. So press X, and then the foreground becomes white, and then you're gonna start now removing the rest of the image, and that's what we want to do. So let's just make it just a tiny bit smaller, like around there. That's kind of cool. You can adjust the hardness of the brush in here if you want to, like in here. I'm using like a super soft, but if you can go here, if you want to just make like sharp edges and stuff, like just like increase the hardness percentage. Right now I'm just using like 0%. I just want it to be super soft, so that way it's not so dramatic. So I'm just making some adjustments here. I think that's pretty good. All right, so I think that's great. Let's just make this a little tiny bit like smaller there so we can get into there. There you go. I think we have a pretty good selection here of the bird. And we remove that background, which is awesome. Again, there's no right or wrong way to desaturate images, or you can use whatever technique you like. There's many ways you can do this. There's no right or wrong way. I think this is pretty neat. I really like the whole thing. Now we're gonna add in some more, like tune in like some details, like we can add in like some grain to it. So what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna create a new layer. So we're gonna go into you can go into here, into the menu here, and just create a new layer, or you can just press like Command Shift N, Control Shift N, and then let's just create in the color section, just pick gray, and then in the blending modes, let's just pick overlay, and then click on fill with overlay neutral color at 50%, and nothing is gonna happen, right? Like you can name this layer whatever you want, like grain or texture, whatever you want to do, and then click OK. nothing happens here because it has an overlay, 50% overlay. So if we go here normal, you see that is all covered. If we go here, the filters that we're going to put in here will definitely take effect in this image. So right click on it and just like transform this into a smart object. Okay, which is awesome. Now we have that layer there. Now we can start applying some of these filters. So go into your into the top, click on filter, and then go into noise, and then we're gonna add some noise in here. Okay, so we have some noise. So we're gonna zoom in a little bit. So Command plus, just to zoom in. So you can see some of that little noise in there. It's like a 7.16. If you go like super hard, of course, depending on your image, of course, and the image size, you can go into 2, 7. I'm gonna do probably like 6. And then uniform is fine, and then monochromatic is fine, and then click OK. Okay, we can turn it off and on just to see like the difference between that one, this one, just a tiny bit, you know, grain in there. And then let's just add in another filter, which is a Gaussian blur. So go into your filters, go into blur, and then Gaussian blur. And then in there, you can see like you can increase the Gaussian blur or going into 0. So I'm gonna go into probably like a 0.4 maybe, or 0.5. 0.5 is fine. You can preview it, like click on and off. So you can preview it just a tiny bit, which is awesome. Click OK. That's perfect. I think we got the first one done, which is awesome. Before we go, let's just grab all of it and press Command G or Control G on your PC and just group them. Another thing I wanted to do is just, you know, just for fun, just grab the marquee tool and just like make a selection. Like about there, maybe. Let's just include this one. Like about there. That's good. And then with that selection, just press Command Shift I to invert that selection. Command Shift I. And then what you did is just like you just like reverse that selection, because we're gonna copy this now. So you're gonna press now Command or Control Shift C to copy, and then we're gonna press Command V to paste. And what we did is just like we copied that selection. Let me just name this border, and then we pasted it. Then we're gonna press Command T, Control T on your PC, and then to transform it, and then we're gonna just like rotate. Let me just zoom back a little bit by pressing Command minus, and let's just, you know, turn it upside down. Press OK, and there you go. You have like a really kind of like interesting thing going on right here. Another thing that we could do is we can add in some inside like shadows maybe. So double click on that border, and then let's do outer shadow, outer glow. Yeah, so we're gonna pick that outer glow. The blending mode, can do something like that. Just playing around and experiment however you feel, whatever feels right, then go with that. I think that's good. Multiply is really good, so we're gonna leave it at multiply. If we have it at normal, it's probably pretty similar, so we're gonna leave it at that. And then last but not least, I'm gonna grab everything. I'm just like trying things out here, and I'm going to select all. I'm going to select all by pressing Command A, Control A, and then Command Shift C, Control Shift C on your PC, and then paste. Paste it on top of it. Then go into your filter. I'm just trying things out here just to see. I want to do something with a high pass. So go into filter, other, and then go to high pass. And then just play around with this. And, you know, I'm going to go like super low, just because I want to see those edges just a tiny bit more, like around there. Click OK, and then go into your blending modes And then we're going to go into kind of like overlay or soft. So you see the difference there. There's more details. So I'm going to go into overlay. See the difference? Kind of like make this pop a little more. There you go. So that's image number 1. For image number 2, let's see, we have a couple of more minutes. We have like 5 more minutes. So let's see if we can go through it right away. All right, so bear with me here because I'm gonna go flying now. All right, so we have our image here. I'm gonna just like make it just a tiny bit bigger by pressing Control T. Like around there. Let's see if the time works in our, in our side. So let's create a gradient map. Boom, we have it. That's awesome. Let's just create a selection pretty quick. Let's see if this works. I think we got it. Let's just see right here. Click on the mask, and then we're going to paint black. Remember, press D. So that way is on default. Press X to change between the foreground and the background. And then when you have your foreground in black, then just like make sure you are on your mask, and then press Option Delete, Alt Delete on your PC. Boom. We just bring her to life, which is awesome. And because we don't have a lot of time, what we're going to do is like we're going to fly through this. So what I'm going to do is add in like a new layer, and we're going to do the same trick. We're going to go gray, then we're going to go overlay 50%. Click on that. Now we have it. Now what we're going to do is just convert this into a smart object. Just convert into smart object, and then now go into filter. Now go into noise, add noise, and it's a little bit. We can probably do a little more maybe. Uniform, monochromatic, that's great. And then go again, blur, filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur. And just, let's zoom in just a tiny bit just to see how that looks. Let's do 0.6. That is great. And then if we want to do the same trick we did before with the image, let's just grab the marquee tool again. And I'm going to go ahead and just like grab a big section here. Like about there, eyeball it, or, do whatever, how you feel like it's going to work for you. And then just invert that selection, Command Shift I, Control Shift I on your PC, and then just Command Shift C to copy, and then Command B, Control B to paste. And then we're going to press Command T to transform, and then we're going to rotate it. Just creating this, cool effect type of thing. Then double click that, and we're going to add in some shadows like outer glow, because remember it's kind of like inside of it. So we're going to click OK. I think we do have like one minute left. So what we're going to do is like select all, Command Shift C, Command B to paste, and then go into filter, other, high pass. And then just play with it just a tiny bit more. There you go. And then the blending mode, go into your blending modes and either overlaid or soft. Let's do a soft one for now. All right. And then just like Command G to group them together. So that's option number 1. And then option number 2. This is pretty fun. I definitely want to see how you create your own stuff. Don't forget to join our, community by posting your work into our Discord. There are mentors there that definitely can help you level up your design skills and other creatives to inspire you. So I want to see your stuff in Discord. So go ahead, create something cool, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.